Welcome back to Off the Court. We have everybody's favorite post on this episode. She's number 33. Most of you might know her as Big Smile. She's a North Carolina native and a third-team All-American. Please help me welcome Elissa Cunane.
What's up?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Ace?
Pretty good. It's a beautiful day here in Seattle. How's the weather over there?
It's pretty good. It's a little hot, but it's better than rainy.
That's true. I mean, it's been raining here a little bit on and off, and I will miss like the North Carolina sun, but not the humidity at all.
No, the humidity's been crazy.
Yeah, but so we're going to jump right into it. We have a ton of questions for you, but before I do all of that, my mom says hi to Sharon.
Oh, I'll have to tell her hi.
Yeah, I was like, she's not with her right now, but I'm sure she'll pass on the message. But
Yeah.
what have you been doing in quarantine? Like, how are you keeping busy? I know you're back on campus now, but before you were on campus and kind of now too, what are like the hobbies that are keeping you going right now?
So before quarantine, I was biking in my hometown. I was kayaking with my family and friends and just trying to get outdoors as much as possible. My dad made me some box jumps to work out with, so you ready for the hops this year? And now
You're
that
gonna
I'm
win
back in,
some more tips.
yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. But now that I'm back in Raleigh, I'm in one summer class, so I've been focusing on that. And then we have workouts starting back up. So it's actually been pretty busy around here.
That's awesome. I mean, you were talking about the box jumps. Mary Rawls wants to know what you have been doing, like in the exactly like the kind of workouts that you've been doing while at home during this quarantine.
Yeah, so at home, our strength coach sent us a list of stuff to do every day. So I was just doing that. I was out riding my bike on the Greenway, like 14, 15 miles. And my mom started working out with me too. We have a court at my house, so I was putting up some shots with my brother, and everyone was just down there. So I've been trying to do everything I can. And now that we're back, we're able to do some voluntary stuff on the track. So it's been good.
Oh, track work. Are you guys, I mean, I saw it like you guys were at 8 a.m. this morning. Was that on the track?
So we didn't go on the track today. We did more agility stuff, but Mondays and Fridays we're out there running around.
I don't miss that at all.
See, I'm loving it because like the weather at 8 a.m. It's like a little bit warm, but you still have the coolness, and it's like actually like pretty fun bonding time. So it hasn't been too bad. We're just working our way back in right now. So
I mean, yeah, that's really good. You guys have had like a lot of opportunities to bond. Everybody's there and kind of nothing is really going on. I saw, all the newcomers are there and I saw you guys had like this water balloon and water gun fight. Like, how did that happen and what was going on with that?
yeah, so that was on Saturday. I just like woken up and it was a beautiful day, so I texted Jada Rice. I was like, dude, we got to do something today. So we were like, water balloons, water guns. So we grabbed a few people, loaded up my car, went to Walmart, went to Five Below, found all the water balloons, all the water guns we could find, and we went out to a spot on campus and we were throwing water balloons, running around. People driving by were looking at us crazy, but it was an amazing time. Like, we're all going to remember that day for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, that sounded awesome. I was a little bit jealous. I was like sitting at home and I looked at that. I was like, wow, like we never did anything like that.
I know, right? Yeah, it was really cool that we actually like coordinated and actually did it.
That's awesome. And like speaking on the newcomers, like you are going to be in like this leadership role this year, right? So, how is the chemistry? How is everybody getting along? And like, what are you, like, are you worried about coming into this like upperclassman job of being a leader, or is it going to come a little bit naturally, you think?
Yeah, so it's been a little weird, like, especially since I was so close to you and Erica last year. Like, normally I could just default everything to you guys, but now that I'm kind of growing into the role, it's kind of happened naturally, kind of a little bit of stepping up. But the freshmen are amazing, and Raina, grad transfer, they're been so much fun to hang around with, and we really have just bonded so easily over this time.
Yeah, and so we have a question. Um, from Greg Clemens. He wants to know about your and Camille's relationship, how you guys like iron sharpens iron, right? Like in practice, like if you think going against her in practice has really improved both of your games, and if you see the opportunity for you guys to play in a game together, I mean, you can basically play a point guard. So
yeah. So I think anytime you have another person playing your position, there's like two ways the relationship can go. It can be like just great, or just like you don't like the other person at all competing. And I think me and Camille's relationship has grown a lot. She's an amazing player, and playing against her in practice, like she goes in there, gets an extra shots, and so I'm like, all right, like I need to go in there and get an extra shot. So she's been a really good player to go against, and she's definitely made me better, and I definitely see her getting better every day.
she replaced me in my room, right? You guys
Yeah, she did. Now? She's the new roomie, new 252.
No one will ever replace the original 252. I'm putting that out there now. Nobody will ever replace our crazy midnight baking ever.
I know. I definitely miss that right now.
But it's really great that you like have that opportunity to step up and like not only challenge yourself against Camille, but also kind of be a mentor to her, because I think that's going to be really helpful through the next couple of years that you're there. You're going to have somebody who is competing against you every single day. So I think that's awesome. But let's go back in time a little bit. Let's head back to your high school days. I mean, you started off winning in Reynolds before you ever came to NC State. You won 2 state championships, the last one in Reynolds. Talk a little bit about that experience, being able to play there before you were even part of the Wolfpack.
Yeah, it was so cool. So it was funny because actually my freshman year, we all went to NC State's camp. And so we kind of saw the campus then. And then coming back and finishing with the championship, everyone was like, oh my gosh, like this is where you're going to be playing. And some of the girls came to the game, and obviously all the coaches were there. So it was just a really cool feeling, and definitely a pretty cool storyline to be winning the state championship in the place where I would play for the next 4 years.
Yeah, and then let's talk about committing to NC State a little bit. You committed a little bit early. I have the best story. So I'm going to tell this story, and I know you hate it, but if they need to know. They need to know. So you came to your official visit, and you're sitting at the football game, and you were kind of quiet. You didn't really want to like interact with people that much. I think you're just ready for it to be over, so because you already committed. And we're sitting at the football game. You're sitting in the front row, and there was like a weird gap between like the players and you, and we're like the team. I'm the closest one to you, and the team is like nudging me like, "Hey, you need to talk to her. Go talk to her." Right? And so I tapped you on the shoulder, and I was like, hey, like, you're from North Carolina. Do you know anybody on the football team? And you looked at me, deadpan in the eyes, not a smile, not a smirk, nothing. You stared into my soul, went, no, turned back around and watched the rest of the football game. And I turned back to the rest of the team, and I was like, I tried, guys. I tried. That's all you're getting.
And now we're best friends, so
I know. And now we're like inseparable, like, well, obviously distance, but our spirits.
Yes, always.
Yeah. But I know we were like, maybe she's gonna decommit. Like, she really doesn't like us.
No, I was so tired that day because it was hot. Like, that was a daytime football game, and I was watching. I think it was like second quarter or something, and like everyone was like kind of talking. But I was over here like, I need some water. I need a fan. Like, it's hot. Then you asked me if I knew anybody. I was like, no, like, why would I know anybody on the team? Like, I don't go here.
Yeah, it was like the most awkward like interaction ever. And I was like, she's not gonna like it here. And then next thing you know, we're like having like movie dates and stuff and like baking together. But definitely a 360 on that one. But who else was you did commit, like not as early as some of the girls we've had on the show already, but you did commit a little bit early. What was your process of choosing NC State? Who else was recruiting, and why did you choose NC State?
So when my recruiting started, I was just kind of like going through it. I knew I wanted to go somewhere close to home, so I kind of narrowed it down to like the states around North Carolina. So I ended up having a top 5 and did in-house visits to the top 5. which was Virginia Tech, Wake Forest, NC State, Georgia, and South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And so after those, then I started going to more games, and I actually ended up going to the Play for K game at NC State one Sunday. And I just remember, like, the feeling of being in Reynolds. Like, it was a really good game, and, like, me and my dad were eating the soft pretzels at Reynolds, and, like, everything just felt so right, like, in that moment. And I already knew that NC State had the educational programs I wanted. I already had the relationship with the coaches, which was amazing. And I already knew you guys from my official visit.
Yeah.
And from just talking to you guys after and interacting afterwards. So after I went to that game, I was like, wow, like this is it. Like this is where I want to play.
Yeah, and you talked about Virginia Tech a little bit. Let's talk about the Kitley rivalry. Like, you hear every time we play them, that's all over the news. When I Google your high school days, it's just all articles about you guys going up against each other. You guys were almost teammates, right? But I guess you want the rivalry going. What's it like kind of having that friendship and rivalry continue into college on this level?
Yeah, so in high school, we actually played on the same AAU team, and then we played at different, actually rival high schools. So her and Kayla both were my best friends. Like, we were just the trio throughout high school, and we did everything together. And then going into, now I was in college, so playing against her, it's kind of funky. Like, in AAU, we would always, like, laugh and joke the whole time, but then, like, in high school, you got to be more serious. And then now it's like at a super serious level. So like we still talk like before the games, and after the game we'll be like, oh, like you did this good. And like even when I went back home for quarantine, we were shooting together, and just playing against her is really good to go up against because she's a phenomenal player. So definitely makes me better.
Yeah, and we always used to joke, we'd watch film where like they are the same person. They both wear 33, like
Yeah, some of the same moves. That's because we grew up and working with the same post coach.
I mean, but I think it's awesome. It's always so fun, that game, because you guys just go head to head the whole time and we all kind of just like watch it happen. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But then you commit to NC State, you get on campus, you have your first year, you're coming off the bench, and then you get thrown into a starting role, unfortunately, because of an injury. But talk about kind of like what was going through your head when that happened. Were you scared? Like, what was your goals coming into that? How were you dealing with being thrown into that position right away in like freshman year?
Yeah, so coming off the bench, all I want to do was make an impact on the team. Like all I want to do is for the team to win. And so I was fine with that role that I was playing. And then when Erica got hurt, I was like, oh no, like I'm about to be starting, like I'm about to be playing more. And I think it was actually the Syracuse game that we played next, and it was at high elevation, and I was winded. So I was kind of nervous. I was like, oh my goodness, like am I going to be able to do this? But I had a lot of support from the other post players as well as the whole team. Erica, I would talk to her every day. Like she would still be up there at practice, and I'd be like, yo, like I need your advice. Like what should I do in this situation, this situation? And so I was really just able to fulfill that role.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember like, because you were the main sub for the 5, and we didn't really have, like, Jada Rice was there, but like you were the main backup for Erica, and then you didn't really have a backup. And I just remember so many times like looking at you, and you would just be like, wait, okay, what play? And you're like, okay, we need to like slow down for Elissa for a second. And it was just, I mean, you did a wonderful job. And obviously that carried into sophomore year. Let's talk about like this phenomenal year you just had. I mean, Naismith nominee, Lisa Leslie Award nominee, third team All-American. Talk to us, like, how did your mindset change from year to year? Did the way you prepare change? And was it like a shock for you that it went that way, or were you kind of gunning for that for the beginning?
So I didn't really have any like tangible like personal goals. I just know coming into the season that we really wanted the ACC Championship. And so I knew that that was going to take a lot more than what would before. And I knew that in the summer was a big time for that. Like I know I had to work harder, I had to get better at all these things. And I really worked on my shot over the summer as well, because I like playing a little bit outside too, as y'all might know. But so if I knew that that's something I wanted to do and something I wanted to incorporate to my game, I just had to work for it. So I was just really, I wanted to win the ACC championship, and I really wanted our team to have that. So that was the motivation behind everything.
And then into that ACC championship, what was it like to win one sophomore year? You have 2 more years to do it again. Like for me, it was my last year. This is something we've been working for 4 years, but for you to like start that off now, what type of goals does that set for the next 2 years?
It definitely elevates everything. So these next 2 years, we're going to have 2 more opportunities, and we know how much we worked this year, but now there's even more of a target on our backs. We got to work double hard and triple hard senior year. So I just think that we just need to keep motivating each other. And now that we kind of know that feeling, we know the glory of standing on that stage, getting the trophy. I think that's going to be a big motivator for us just to keep working hard and doing what we're doing.
And do you think that's something that can happen again next season? Like, is that the new
Don't ask that question, of course.
Because I mean, you have a young team. You have 2 seniors and a grad transfer, and that is like your senior leadership. And then, you know, you and Jada Rice as juniors. So you have a young team. You think this young team can pull together and kind of do a repeat?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely. I'm not saying it's going to be easy by any means. We definitely have a whole different lineup, especially losing you as a point guard, which is a huge, like, you control everything basically. You know where everyone's supposed to do. So I think it's definitely going to be a little tough, but I think being together and just around each other right now is a really good help and a really good boost for us to build that chemistry.
Yeah, and I think that chemistry you're building right now is going to be so important when you get on the floor, especially because of, you know, the young court you really have. Like, I think the whole backcourt is all new, basically. So it's a great thing that you guys are really diving into building that chemistry early, and I think that's going to make a huge difference. But more on a personal level, you had this amazing season, right? How are you going to one-up it this next season?
So over the summer, I've really just been working on like my agility as far as like my movements, my jumping, and just continuing to work in the post and work on my shot. I can definitely get more fluid in certain areas, and especially on defense, just be able to move better. So I really just been working on my ability to move over the summer, and hopefully that can take my game to another level.
Yeah, I mean, you have a big job ahead of you because of all those things. Like, short of winning all of those awards, how do you top that, right?
Exactly.
But beyond that, you changed your major. I know you came in as like veterinary science. What are you studying now?
I am now conservation biology major. And for those of you that don't know, funny story, I told my parents that I was changing my major. I told them I was going to do conservation biology, and I was so excited, and they were like, Elissa, what's that? Like, we're excited for you, but what's that? But basically conservation biology is just kind of like in the middle between like wildlife and human interactions, and just figuring out ways to help the environment through managing humans and through business corporations, through national parks, all the different areas, just to try and save the planet.
I mean, if you had to live one place and get to do that job, what would you do? Because I mean, I wanted to be a marine biologist for like the longest, and I wanted to go like live in like Indonesia or something. So like for you, what would be your perfect location?
I mean, I think it would be a dream to be in like New Zealand, like working at their national parks, but at the same time, just being in the United States at like the national parks we have here, just anywhere is just beautiful to be able to work in and be in nature.
Yeah, I mean, I think Yellowstone would be crazy. All of those places are awesome. I haven't had a huge chance being Canadian to like explore all that much, but I see all those pictures on my like Instagram feed all the time, and I'm like, I want to go so bad. So maybe you and I need to like take a road trip or something.
All right, sounds good. I'll let Coach Moore know that I'm be absent for a couple months. He'll be fine with
Yeah,
it.
where are you going? We're just driving from park to park.
Exactly.
But if there is there's going to be an opportunity for you to play pro. Is that something you want to do? Do you want to get to the WNBA? Would you want to go overseas? What is basketball something you see in your future?
Yeah, I definitely think basketball is something I see in my future. As much as I put into the sport, I would love to see it continue after college.
So is that just the WNBA? I know some people just want to go to the WNBA. They want to stay in the US. Or are you open to going overseas?
Yeah, I'm open to anything. I'd love to go play in the league, but then again, I think it'd be amazing to travel overseas. So I think it's just going to be whatever opportunities are brought to me during that time. But yeah, I'm always open to whatever.
That's awesome. I think, it's going to come for you. I mean, you're going to have that opportunity probably to take your pick. So if you had to choose like a country in Europe, or let's just stick to Europe because it's easy. Like, where would be your dream country to play in?
Just off the top of my head, I would probably say like France, just because like they have like croissants and but I think anywhere really, everywhere is beautiful in this world. So yeah,
It's
I
the
don't have any.
croissants, though.
Yeah, it's their croissants that do it for me.
Well, I can't. I don't even know how to respond to that. It's the croissants. The architecture, the Alps, no, it's the croissants.
The croissants.
That's awesome. That's the best response I've ever gotten to that question ever. But okay, so you're back on campus. You're in 8 a.m. workouts. You guys are getting in the gym. You're doing all those things. What else are you doing on campus? I mean, we have a question here from Maria Santor, and she saw that you were involved in kind of the Black Lives Matter protest and walk through campus into Raleigh, and kind of what you feel your responsibility is as an athlete with a platform, as well as being friends with so many people this affects. Why is this so important to you?
Yeah, I mean, the importance of this is just my big thing is trying to use my platform to advocate to other people, because me growing up, like, I didn't know what Juneteenth was until I got into college. Like, I had never heard of it before. And so if I can use my platform to educate people, that all the people that follow me and just NC State, that I think that I can help impact the thought processes of people that are growing up in this country. And I think having the responsibility of having Black teammates, Black friends, is just that it's a human rights issue. It's not necessarily something that's political or like even debatable. So I really just want this world to be better for everyone that I'm around and the next generation to come.
And I think that's like probably the perfect stance to take on that. Like, we are just trying to make it better for everyone. We want everyone to feel loved and safe. So having the opportunity for you do have this huge opportunity to shape young people coming into this world. I mean, like experiencing it myself, those kids really look up to us, and you being able to use that platform, and especially continuing to use that for the next 2 years, I think is amazing opportunity for that. But we're going to jump in to some of the other questions. We got a bunch for you.
Oh,
so bear with me a little bit. Lynn Bird wants to know, what do you think your biggest growth has been since you've gotten to NC State?
My biggest growth, like physically or like leadership?
We could say give me one for on the court and one for like as a person.
Okay. Well, I'll say as a person, I think I've done a lot better just being a leader and being able to voice my opinions and just my views to be able to lead the team in a better way. Yeah. And then on the court, you might not believe me, Ace, but I don't fall 8 times a game anymore. So that is
I can't remember who keeps count of that, but we're going to have to check.
I know. We're going to need someone on that. But I think just like my agility and my movements, I've definitely grown into like my body more and gotten more mature. So I think on the court, that would definitely be my biggest transition.
Okay. L. Sadler wants to know what the best tall joke you've ever heard is.
Man, I don't know if I really ever heard any good tall jokes. They're all like, how's the weather up there? Like, the same as right there, just 1 foot shorter. I don't know. I really don't think I've ever heard a good tall joke. So if anybody has one, please let me know, because
Yeah,
I don't know if
submit
I've heard.
your tall jokes to us and we will evaluate them.
Yeah, I'll give you guys feedback on them.
I mean, you're tall, but like we have people who are only like an inch shorter than you on the team.
Yeah.
So like being around you isn't that weird. Like I don't think the team makes fun of you really for being tall. If anything, it's people outside of the team because like we'll go that. But I do know like sometimes we'll be like, you better take those heels off. I don't know where you're going.
Yeah, this last week though, like seeing everybody again, like everybody coming back, like Jada Rice looks at me every day and it's like, you're just so tall. I'm like, Jada, I'm like 2 inches taller than you. But yeah, definitely being around you guys makes me feel a bit more normal, and then being around the normal NC State population is a little bit of a different story.
I totally feel that because like I'm 5'10", so I don't feel tall like with the team. Like I feel average size, and then like I'll go to the mall and I'll be able to like see over top of everyone's heads, and I'm like, what is going on? Like I don't feel tall until I'm out in the like real world, and
Yeah.
it's such like a transition, like because I'm just used to being like around you all day every day, and I'm like, oh, I'm short, like whatever.
Yeah.
But no, we're actually all like really like tall.
Yeah, I was at my church the other day and we were painting because we just got a new place, and they were like, Elissa, can you get the corners? And I was like, are you kidding me? So
But
yeah,
did
I
you
guess
get
it
the
works to my
corners?
benefit. Say what?
But you got the corners though.
Oh, I got the corners. It was phenomenal.
Maria Centaur is another question. What was your favorite college game you played in? I mean, I think it's an obvious answer.
I'm not going to be basic and say the ACC Championship game, although that was a pretty good one. I think I'm going to take it back to when we played Maryland. And I think that's like my not last memory, but one of the best memories I have of when we played at Reynolds, because the energy in Reynolds was crazy. It was so loud and it was such a good game. I think our team just played really well. So I think I'm gonna have to go back to that Maryland game.
Wow.
Yeah.
I tried to block that game out of my head. I think I had like 6 turnovers.
Hey, that's my average, so don't worry about it.
I mean, we as a team played really, really well, but for me personally, I try to forget that one. I think I had a fever or something. We're just gonna say that.
Yeah, you just had a little cold or something.
Okay, Nate Jones wants to know who is your hardest competition, and you cannot say me. Come on, I got you ready for that Texas game. You gave me a Charlie horse in my arm. I was locking you up.
I do. You had a great game though, didn't you? We both had great games.
So I just need you to Charlie horse my arm every time.
My hardest competition. I think that's tough just because I think that there's I think of 3 people off the top of my head. I think of Kylie Shook from Louisville, just because she's so tall, can't go in there. And then
thank goodness she graduated, right?
I know, go to the NBA, WNBA. But and then I think of Elizabeth Kitley, just because we are the same player, so it's tough doing the same moves on someone. And then I just think of Janelle Bailey from UNC, just because she's such a strong player.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are all great competition. The ACC has such good talent in the post. You really had good competition every game.
Yeah.
That's definitely a hard one to pick, but I think those ones are probably the most, the ones that stand out the most. Yes. We have Michael Bullard. He wants to know, without giving away any secrets, obviously, because we want you to dominate. How are you specifically evolving your game to be more dominant this next season?
So I think kind of what I touched on earlier, one thing I'm really trying to focus on is, my agility, and being able to move my feet a little bit better, jump a little bit higher. And I think right now, like, not really doing much contact, just like working on some hook shots, some moves in the post, as well as keep on shooting to try to be more consistent shooter from outside the paint.
Yeah, I mean, stretch 5, right? Gonna go off and hit all those threes.
Yeah, may or may not be working on my ball handling every day too, so that might be a little surprise there.
You joined me for that one ball handling, like virtual ball handling workout I had, and
Yeah.
I could not keep a straight face. I'm like trying to teach these kids like these drills, and every time I look up, you're like chasing a ball.
It was after that day that I decided I needed more practice.
Point guard Elissa, you're just gonna when you take off with the rebound from now on, nobody's gonna freak out because they're gonna trust you.
Exactly. Coach Moore's gonna be cool as a cucumber.
That's not possible.
True.
That's not his blood pressure will not allow that. But that's really all the questions I have for you. It's so nice seeing you again. I miss you so much. I mean, I wish that I could be back there bothering you again. But thank you for joining us and answering all of these questions. I know we're all super excited to see this next season. Hopefully it gets going soon. But thank you again so much for joining us.
Of course. Thank you, Ace. You're the best.
Oh, I love you.
Love you too.
Okay, but before we sign off, again, we have our prize pack winner. It is Caitlin Rochester. Congratulations. Our media team will be in touch with you soon about how they're going to get that to you. But everybody keep submitting your questions. We're going to continue to give away prize packs. And thank you for all of the support. You guys are wonderful. Have a great rest of your Thursday.